Ξυπνάω μόνος σαν και φως και λέω εδώ θα μείνω. Μα με ένα σου τηλέφωνο τον γκρίζο κόσμο κλείνω. Μια μπλούζα παίρνω φεύγοντας και τα κλειδιά στα χέρια. Βάζω μπροστά τη μηχανή και καβαλάω τα αστέρια. Εμείς οι δυο σαν ένα, δυο σώματα ενωμένα στις γιορτές της παραλίες.
Hello folks, if you're just joining us, please feel free to put where you are joining us from in the chat box. We'd love to know where you're joining us from.
Δυο σώματα ενωμένα.
Biloxi, Mississippi. Wonderful state, Mississippi. Frederick, Maryland. Friends from Canada. Hello, Canada. The snack capital of the world. Chicago. A quick reminder to folks, if you do have questions that you'd like to pose to our panelists, please enter those in the section on the bottom of your screen marked Q&A. That way we'll make sure that we get to those and submit those to our tour director panelists. But for now, keep telling us where you're joining us from. We have Acton, Maine chiming in. Hartford, North Carolina, hello. Michigan. Hello, Ohio. Hello, Iowa. Washington. Hello, Washington. Mike and Lori from Texas. Hello, Texas. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Hello, Minneapolis. More folks joining us from Canada. Hello, Canada. See Idaho and Connecticut. Hello, Edie in Oregon. Ooh, cold Minnesota. I've heard the weather there is snowy recently. We got folks from San Diego and Los Angeles, Florida, Madison, Wisconsin.
To celebrate State Farm's surprisingly great rates, we gave this song surprisingly great lyrics.
State Farm, prices made just for you. That's what I said now. Prices that surprise you.
Hello, Arizona. More folks from California and New York.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hello, Georgia.
Wait, that's not right. Nope.
Thank you for joining us, folks. We still have a few more minutes where we're going to allow folks to come into the room here, but we will be getting started momentarily. If you're just joining us, if you do have questions for our panelists that you'd like to submit, please enter those in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. And if you'd like to tell us where you're joining us from, please put that information into the chat box. We love seeing where folks are joining us from, and we'd love to say hello. Cold day in Oklahoma, similar day here in Boston. Tennessee, Nashville. Hello, Maine. More folks from Florida telling us the weather's warm there. Jealous. Los Angeles. Wonderful. Hello, Houston, Texas. More folks from Canada, Newfoundland. Even more folks from Chicago. Hello, Chicago. Folks joining us from their RV in Yuma, Arizona. How fun. Looks like we have folks on here that might even recognize one of our panelists. How wonderful. Hello, Maine. All right, well, thank you all for joining us. My name is Nilsson. I'm joining you from just outside of Boston, Massachusetts. I live in Waltham. I typically work in our Boston office as a member of the Traveler Insights and Engagement team. I'm very pleased to be joining you for this Travel Tuesday Travel Talk series. Today we're going to be spotlighting Greece, and we're very lucky to be joined by 3 of our incredible tour directors from Greece. Before we dive in, I do want to address some housekeeping items. One thing to know is that this is a Zoom webinar, which is slightly different from the Zoom calls you might have become accustomed to. We can't see you, so don't worry about that, but if we do want to interact with you. So if you have questions for our panelists, please put them in the Q&A section at the bottom of the screen. That way we can make sure that we try to address as many of those as possible. Also, please make sure that if you do have questions that don't get answered, you can always give us a call and we can answer those for you as well. So today we're spotlighting Greece, which is a wonderful country to visit for a number of reasons. And I know that for many of you out there like me, you've been wishing that you could hit the road and travel a bit. But today we're going to be doing the next best thing, which is connecting with some of our friends and colleagues from Greece. Now, Greece is a wonderful destination, not only for the incredible views that are there, the beaches, the wonderful landscapes, but also the food and, of course, the rich cultural history. But more than anything else, what we miss is the people. And so we're very excited to be joined by 3 of our tour directors from the Athens office of EF Go Ahead. Now, when we talk to the most experienced travelers at Go Ahead, they always tell us that tour directors are one of the things that really sets Go Ahead apart. Not only are they logistical experts, historical experts, but they're also storytellers and really bring the tour together and connect folks to the culture of the place that they're visiting. But there are some other things that really set Go Ahead apart and make us a really great choice if you are looking to explore Greece or anywhere else in the world. One thing that we're going to be highlighting today is unique itineraries. What we mean by that is itineraries that are designed to appeal to folks with a variety of different travel styles. So if you're a history buff, if you're into food and wine, if you're looking to get off the beaten track, we have things for you. Now, at Go Ahead, we believe that the best way to learn about the world is to experience it. And we want to make it as easy as possible for everybody to do just that. So with that in mind, we also have local guides in addition to your tour directors who are subject matter experts to help you get the most educational experience out of your time on tour. And we take care of the details for you. So hotels, meals, transportation to and from tour, and then of course, if you're in Greece, arranging ferries and your transportation throughout the country, we take care of that for you as well. But without further ado, I would love to get you introduced to our team of tour directors that we have in our Athens office joining us. We have Roberto, Gloria, and Kostas. Please say hello to them as we welcome them to the screen here. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Kostas. Would you mind being first here and introducing yourself to us?
Of course. So, Kalispera, good evening, for us at least. I'm Kostas, and I've been working for EF Go Ahead for more than 25 years, which actually means that I've been doing this job for more than half of my life. And traveling, for me, has always been my passion, and this is my, you can call it dream job. And I'm very excited to welcome you to this webinar. And I'm more than happy, along with my friends and colleagues, to share all the information that hopefully you will find useful about maybe coming to Greece when eventually it's possible to travel again.
Wonderful, thank you. And Roberto, would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yasu, or hello from Athens. I'm Roberto, I'm not Greek. Kostas, he is our Greek one, but I'm coming from Madrid, from Spain. I started to work with Go Ahead here in Greece, but I started with EF, with our student market in Madrid, in Spain, like 25 years ago. And I'm living here in Greece, more or less like a half of my life. And really it's a pleasure, and really it's wonderful to be in this webinar with all of you, with the hundreds of people that they are in the other side, that really they are watching us. And we miss you. We want you, that you are here maybe soon. We hope soon.
Absolutely, and I can tell you that all of your colleagues here in the States certainly miss seeing you folks in person as well. Gloria, I'd love to introduce you and bring you into our chat here. Would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Of course. Hello, everyone. I'm Gloria. I'm from Rome, and big hello and kisses to everybody that I had the pleasure of knowing you while on tour. With some of you, actually, we became also friends. We're still in touch. And a big welcome to the rest of the people that didn't have the pleasure to meeting you in person, but I hope that that will happen very soon. I started in 1994, that was long ago, and I started when the company had a different name. It was called Eurotours, different colors, so I see all the different colors that we've been marketing so far. I have to say I like them all. And then I came in the country about 20 years ago, and I still love it, and I can't wait to see you all again and to meet new person again, because every tour is an exchange, both sides.
Certainly, and we're looking forward to that as well. Now, I understand that you folks in the Athens office have put together a bit of a celebration of a number of the different places that we visit on a Go Ahead tour. And I'm very excited to share this with our audience here. Would you mind showing us what you've put together?
What we did to try to make you feel closer to us was to set up a new map. The map of Greece, you know it, or you can see it on your computer. So we tried to set it instead using the most delicious food that you can taste in Greece, together with the traditional handicrafts that you can have in all the main spots. All of them we go together, we go ahead, and of course there will be a larger variety of that. I cannot go right now and describe each and every of them because we have a time frame, but I can and the one that I pick is Santorini, which I know it's a very popular and famous island. And I am going to tell you what we put there as to the representation of the island. First of all, we start showing you the little cherry tomatoes, which are very good. And I used also to make a very famous recipe, which by the way, we will send you later. So you can make it yourself. Then next to it, you see the very famous fava. And for the ones of you that think, oh, fava beans, no, it's not. It's a different one. They are splitted lentils that we mashed, and we put olive oil and lemon and fresh onions, and we eat it as a dip, and it's really, really delicious. And then next to it, the green spot that you see are capers. They are so big in these countries and so tasty that you can actually eat the leaves as well. That's why they are next to it. Talking about also handicraft, you will see some black beads over there. This is actually lava. Everybody knows Santorini is famous for the volcano, so the lava is still there, and they use it to make some local product. All of this that you will taste will make a lot of sense with a glass of wine in your hand, watching sunset, and next to it, the very popular spot called Ia. Please don't say Oya. Ia as in Ia, Ia, O, the song, that one. So you will remember the pronunciation of it. When you actually see these doors for real, together with the cave houses, and so all together you'll be soaked in this wonderful atmosphere that the Greek island will give it to you.
And we all know Santorini, but actually with Go Ahead, we try to go to places that sometimes might seem a little bit obscure, but in fact, actually they're extremely important, or we already know them without being familiar so much. So for instance, I'm going to talk very briefly about the region of the Peloponnese. And the region of the Peloponnese is famous, really famous, for its Kalamata olives that we all know. You can actually see them right now. They are the greatest, the highest quality olives we produce in Greece. Hundreds of varieties. The most famous ones are the big ones, of course, but we have the stuffed ones and many, many other colors and flavors. And you may have heard about the raisins, the Sultana raisins that we probably have tried already. Many of them are actually produced in the Peloponnese. The Peloponnese is famous for its very, very vast orange tree and citrus tree groves. Some of our oranges, you can see in the picture right now, they're a bit yellow because they're off season, but they're delicious. And of course, Peloponnese from the ancient times has been famous for its ceramics, all the way dating back to the Odyssey in the Iliad. And we actually still produce ceramics using the same technique, the same clay, the same designs as in the ancient times. You can see a perfect example that copies museum items that you can actually visit in many museums in Greece and all around the world.
Wonderful. I love this. And for our folks that are viewing from home, even though we're not going to go through each individual piece on that table, rest assured we will be sending you some more information about this in an email after the webinar so that you can get a breakdown of each and every one of these items that our tour directors have selected to represent the places that we visit. And we really appreciate the work that you've put in to put that together for us. And personally, I agree with the folks that have been chiming in the chat that they're hungry now. I would love to have some of those olives myself. Well, with that, we do want to transition into our question and answer session. And we did have some questions that were submitted to us ahead of time, and so we've taken a look at those, and we had some that we wanted to make sure that we addressed. And one that I found personally very interesting was this question. It says, when you receive a call from your tour director office, what tour are you hoping to be assigned? And I think that what would be great is if we could talk to you about the tours that you like to lead the most and why. So Gloria, I'm going to start this question with you. Would you tell us about which tour itinerary you most like to lead?
I have to say, I love to be in Greece to begin with. But the one that I love a lot is the one that I consider, so to speak, my baby, because that was the first tour that I did long ago here in Greece, and it's called Athens and the Ancient Greece. And if the question after is, why do you pick this one, or why do you love it so much, is because that gives you really the chance, everybody, to see Greece from top to toes. You see all the different aspects of the countries. For the ones of you that are very interested in the ancient history, there you go. We got very many archaeological sites, and each of them will evoke this wonderful history that Greece taught to all the rest of the world. Then if you want to see beautiful landscape, as we drive a lot through villages and beautiful countryside, you see all these different colors according to season. And if you also walk in a place like Delphi, you see a valley full, like thousands of olive trees that will take your breath away. For the ones of you that are interested in sport, especially next year in 2021, they move the Olympic Games. So if you really want to feel the spirit of the Olympic Games, then we also go to Olympia, when some of you might want to experience the emotion of running into the ancient stadium, like the ancient runners used to do in antiquity, is still there, perfectly preserved. And also, we do have a tour that goes to the Greek islands, but this is the only tour that goes to the Ionian side of the country. So you got the chance to see the beautiful Corfu island as well, which gives you a different taste and a different feeling of everything. What you see, everybody, right now on the screen, I have to say, I love the tour, but the highlight still, I want to say possibly my entire life, is the picture that you will see right in the center of the screen right now. It's called Meteora. They are pinnacles. They are all standing up in the middle of this valley. Up on top, or you can see the little roof, they're all monasteries still there that we can visit. And it takes your breath away when you see it. Every time I go, I think that Tolkien, when he wrote The Lord of the Rings, must have been to the Meteora first. It's everything you can think of, from magic to mystical to mystery, whatever. It's one of my highlights. So please call right now and come stay with us.
Wow.
And this, everybody, was me on tour. I have to say that I was in Santorini there. And this group of people came as travelers. By the time they left, we turned it into Greek god and goddesses, as you can see, celebrating go-ahead tours. Along, you see, a couple of ouzo and a wine, and there we go.
I love it. You come as a traveler and you leave as a god.
This is what we can do.
All right. Well, I'm gonna move to you, Kostas, and I'm going to ask you the same question. When you're assigned to a tour, what is the one that you most like to lead?
Well, of course, I love all the tours, but there is a particular one that holds a special place in my heart, especially since I took part a little bit in designing the tour. And it's a tour also that speaks to me because it includes my favorite things, food and wine. So it's a food and wine tour of Greece. And it's incredible for me because it gives me a chance to go to places a little bit off the beaten track that I don't usually get to go. And I have a chance to really spend some really good time in these areas, and especially with people who want to learn more about the Greek culture and the Greek cuisine, of course. Basically, it starts in a city which, if you ask any Greek person the city they would like to move, they would say the city of Thessaloniki. So this tour starts from Thessaloniki, which is a very international, very, very diverse, very charming city, which is the culinary capital of Greece, with the best restaurants and the best chefs working in the city. You have a chance to go to my favorite winery from the whole country, the Gero Vasiliou winery, and try the local wine, their own wine. You have a chance to travel through the Greek countryside. You of course reach Athens because you have to go to Athens to see the Acropolis, but also to eat in the best Michelin, one of the few Michelin restaurants in Greece, the Botrinis restaurant. And then you zoom through the Aegean Sea, you fly to the island of Crete, which is the most traditional area, the most, what we call the breadbasket of Greece, so where most of the agricultural products and the best ones come from. You have a chance to try the local olive oil, the local wine, and also to spend time in a magnificent city called Chania, a melting pot of civilizations, of cultures, religions, where you can see a church, a mosque, a synagogue next to each other. Try the local hospitality, which is really famous. And just to wrap everything up, the cherry on top is the extension of this tour that takes you to the most beautiful place in the world, Santorini, and see the volcanoes, see the sunsets, try the wine. And for me, this is the perfect experience. So I'm always excited when I get this tour.
Wow. I want to go now. I mean,
Some pictures, some of the local, you can see pictures of the local restaurants that we do get to visit, not, just city restaurants. This is in the middle, you can see a very, very small village where a family cooked their own products, they produced themselves, just underneath the canopy in a beautiful weather. And just an unforgettable experience.
Oh my gosh, that sounds lovely. And I mean, one thing that I like about traveling with Go Ahead, regardless of the tour itinerary, is that the food is always good. But you said on this tour, there's an opportunity to go to a Michelin star restaurant. Can you tell us more about that?
Absolutely. As I said, there are not so many Michelin restaurants in Greece. It's an up-and-coming industry. One of the first and the most important ones is called Botrinis Restaurant. It's a restaurant that is located in an unconventional part of Athens, the northern suburbs, which is one of the poshest areas of the city. Tourists don't usually make it all the way there, but it's a restaurant that has an incredible ambience, and you can see some of their dishes. Their dishes are a combination of traditional Greek ingredients, modern ideas, and a twist of those two things, and a magnificent presentation, as you can see, which really, it's mouth-watering. You can see it right now.
Wonderful. Well, let's move on. I want to talk to Roberto because I understand that the tour that you like to lead the most is the one that it looks like a lot of the folks in our chat are interested in, which includes the Greek Isles. Would you tell us about which tour you like to lead the most?
Yes, the truth, Nelson, is, well, nowadays any tour, but really, if I have to choose when I receive this phone call, is the Greek island. Really, this tour is like it's part of me. Really, has been the first tour I led with Go Ahead when I started was this one, and it still is one I love to do it and to show to the travelers all the beautiful places we go. You have the beauty of Greece. Yes, my friends, they describe the mainland and also the food. But in this tour, the famous part of Greece also is the islands. And then traveling from Athens all the way, having like an appetizer of the mainland, if you go to Delphi in one of the channels, and then you start to sail along the Aegean Sea and you start to see the colors of Greece. Then the first destination is Mykonos, the blue and white, the beautiful white houses, and to wander and to walk around the alleys, the tiny shops, the cafes, the restaurants, and then you appear in the amazing little Venice for watching an amazing sunset near the windmills. Then moving from Mykonos, you go to the highlight or to the oh my God, like I used to describe to my groups. The oh my God is Santorini, that then people they're having really incredible expectations, and really like myself, when the first time I came to Greece, also was like an oh my God. And really with us, traveling in this tour, or in any tour, when we are in Santorini, you can see the whole island from everywhere. Then you will have the chance to enjoy the beautiful cliffs and to enjoy the caldera, the view of the cliffs and also the volcano, to go to the highest mountain, to see the ruins also, to see the colors of Santorini. Mykonos is the blue and white. Here they are the blue domes, the pastry colors in the houses and the buildings. And one of the highlights for me in this island or in this tour is is the Caldera cruise. This optional that really maybe is one of the best optionals that you can have for knowing and to enjoy and to realize the formation of the island, to see, to jump in the water, to have wine, to enjoy a nice meal, and to watch a romantic sunset. Like for example, the photo that you can see there in the screen is like one of the sunsets from the boat at the Caldera in Santorini. Really, it's a must, and it's like a highlight for all of you to travel, and also every time we go on tour there. But moving from Santorini, then we go to the green, that is Crete, that is the olives, is the mountains, and it's the largest island we have, and also to enjoy the beautiful food, the olive oil, like Kostas he said, and also to see some of the ruins that they are from one of the ancient ones, or one of the oldest ones in the world, the Palace of Knossos from the Minoan. And you are back to Athens. After being back in Athens, then after all these places, you have all the colors of Greece in your heart. And really...
Oh, lovely. And, we did see some questions coming in that before we began the webinar that, some folks were saying, we've seen Santorini and Mykonos. Where else can you take us? Are there other islands that you could recommend going on tour with Go Ahead to?
Yes, it happens to me too. When I came here my first time for holidays, and also I realized the beauty of these islands, Mykonos, Santorini, but I discovered also the beauty in another ones. And Go Ahead is offering like a tour that is going to two different islands or two undiscovered islands that really you can see a better way Greece, or how the Greek islands also they are. They are Paros and Naxos. Both of them, they are also from the Cycladic group, from the central part of the Aegean Sea. And in the way you want to enjoy the architecture also of the islands, the blue and white. If you want to enjoy also the beautiful beaches, the beautiful sea, and also to enjoy the mountains, because both of them, their mountains are around the island, there is a tour really recommended to discover the part of Greece that maybe you're going to see in another tour, but also you're going to realize in a different way visiting or making this tour.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for telling us about these wonderful itineraries. I think that based on what we're seeing coming in the chat, it looks like this information was really helpful to a lot of folks. And it looks like there was a number of folks that might not have even heard of some of these itineraries. So it gives them something new to investigate. Never easy to make a choice about which tour to do in Greece, but I think that people appreciate having the options. We're going to move on to some more questions and answers, and one that we have gotten a lot coming in before the webinar began was, of course, when are we going to be able to travel again? And I know that you're all very anxious to travel again. And unfortunately, we don't have any major announcements to be making today. If you have questions about your specific tour and you're a viewer today, we encourage you to give us a call and we can talk through the different options that are available to you. But I'm also curious on a personal level, and I'm ready for any of you to answer this. How have you folks been doing during this really difficult time when you as tour directors haven't been able to lead our groups of travelers?
Well, I did, let's say, followed my hobby, which is doing something with felt. So I did something that I'm giving away for Christmas present to friends. And so this is how I keep myself busy cutting and gluing and doing so, and using all my creative mind until I put everything into a box and I have a case in my hand.
I love it. Finding new hobbies or rediscovering old hobbies. Yes.
I think also for most of the tour directors who will work a big part of the year, at least 9-10 months a year, in a way, it's a bit of a luxury to be able to stay at home. So, at least for me, it has been, okay, it's not the most pleasant situation. And of course, we miss being on the road. But in a way, it's a little bit of a treat to be able to spend some quality time with our families, with our friends, to basically just lay it low a little bit and just really just relax and really have this coffee. People watching, the people on the street that we recommend to our visitors, to do it ourselves and to basically just to rediscover our country with a different point of view that we had with the crowds of people around us. So it's actually quite different, quite a nice difference.
Finding a silver lining.
I think it's similar like all of you there. All of us, we have been cooking, we have been baking, we have been watching TV. In my case, for example, I am kind of maternity leave because my dog had the puppies, then like 2 months ago, 5. And then really I'm taking care of the dogs that really, if I was on tour, I wasn't going to be able to do it. Then it's grateful also. But it's different life that is like for all of us and all of you similar.
Well, thank you for telling us. I saw some folks saying that, they had been worried about our tour directors, and we're glad to hear that they're holding up as well as you are. I'm going to ask you each one more question that we got pre-submitted before the webinar began, and then I'm going to turn to questions that have been submitted during this session. And again, if you have questions, please submit them in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. I'm going to start with Kostas. This is a question that we receive a lot. What is the best time of the year to travel to Greece?
I love this question because Greece is actually, in a way, seen as a seasonal destination. People think of Greece and they think of the summer. However, out of all the European countries, I would say Greece is the only country you can visit any time of the year and almost be guaranteed to have a good time. We like to say that in Greece we have 300 sunny days per year. That means that even in the heart of winter, when it's snowing in Germany, it's raining in Italy, and it's freezing cold in Spain, actually in Greece, you can actually go to the beach and just put your feet in the water. So I would say anytime. However, for instance, for someone who cares about nature, someone who likes flowers and plants, spring is the best time because you can actually walk through the ancient ruins, the Acropolis, Delphi, Olympia, and you can see them surrounded by beautiful flowers, especially their beautiful poppies that are, seasonal in spring. So it's spectacular. If you like warmer weather, you would like to spend time at the beach, you would like to try the best watermelons, the best melons, the best peaches, the best fruit and vegetable, you come in the summertime because that's the best time for that. If you would like to see the most beautiful sunset, you would like to have a more mild climate, you want to be away from the heavy crowds of the summer, you come in autumn. And then if you just want to go to the Acropolis and enjoy it all by yourself, with no visitors, no tourists around you, wintertime is the best time because really there's very few people around. You have a special connection with the places you visit because there's no one around. And it's a magnificent experience. So yeah, anytime.
Think that we are in October, at the end of October, and me and Gloria, we are wearing sandals.
That sounds really
No
good to me
tights,
here in
no
Boston.
socks.
All right, wonderful. Well, thank you for answering that question. Gloria, I'm going to direct this question to you. We had a question submitted that said, what are some of the best souvenirs to bring home from Greece?
Oh, there are plenty of them. I mentioned just a few of them and I'm going to show it to you. The first one, I use this because I think it's more visible, but you're not going to buy the puppet one, goes without saying. But this is an owl, okay? And I'm a close friend of Goddess Athena. The reason for which I'm very popular in this country is because I represent wisdom, because I can see through the dark. And so the ancient Greeks thought they can foresee things. My eyes can go around and see all around without moving my head. And this is why I got associated to Goddess Athena, which was the goddess of wisdom. The blue eye and the owl itself make basically the same job. In other words, they protect you from bad luck. It's like an amulet. And you can find it made out as a chain, as a jewel, as a t-shirt, a little statue. Anything here is useful to represent an owl. The second one that I hope you can see through the camera is what you know the decoration better as the Greek key. Normally, that's the way you call it. Okay, I hope that you can see it. And this is actually, again, learn a little bit of Greek. This is actually called the meander key, just as you say in English that the river goes meander. It represents eternal life, and exactly as in life we have happy moments, so we have the ups, and then sometimes we have some sad moments, so we have the down. This is what it is. So this is also a very good thought that you can bring back to home to yourself or to the one that you love. The third one, which is mainly addressed to men, is the Greek name is komboloi, and you know it better as a worry beads. It doesn't have any religious meaning in this country, but you play with it. So you turn it in and out, you can make a double tour. You play when you keep yourself busy, when you're watching a soccer match, or you walk around, or you're having a drink. It's something that almost, I want to say, every Greek man will carry around, and you can find it in many different versions. The last one that I want to mention to you, sometimes I got people traveling with me that wants to bring back a kind of Christmas decoration. So this one, which is made of ceramic, is a pomegranate. It's something that it's the fruit that is related again to a myth of Persephone, and due to the very many seeds represents prosperity. So when you visit someone on the 1st of January, this is what you bring. All right. To make clear also, I just wanted to be clear as well, for the ones of you that watch the movie, My Big Greek Fat Wedding, we do not sell Windex in this country, but we do have an equivalent. We'll tell you the brand when you come over if you really need it.
Oh, of course, yeah. Everybody's going to need Windex for their hotel room. But I love the worry beads. Those would be useful for watching sports, I think.
Oh yeah, and it's an easy, cheap souvenir that takes, look, that much in your case.
Wonderful.
Think of co-workers and a lot of people around, see?
Perfect. All right, Roberto, I'm going to direct this question to you, and this one has more to do with the world we're living in now with the coronavirus. We've had people that were writing in worried about some of our suppliers and partners, and so the question is, how are Greek restaurants and businesses faring during the pandemic?
Yes, COVID and this coronavirus has changed our life everywhere, every here and there. But here, for example, if we talk about hotels or about property hotels, I can say that from the 1st of June, all the 12 months hotel they were able to open, and also from the 15th of June, the seasonal ones, the resorts, they were able to open too. The season, if we can call it season, really hasn't been great. Okay, we have very few tourism or local tourism also traveling and using these hotels, and of course they have been planning and also executing the different action plans, like from the Greek authorities, like to have the plexiglass in the reception, the hand sanitizer, all these things they have been, or they are being provided at the hotels. And it's sad, okay, not to see them so crowded or not to see so much traffic, but also has been it's a way that these properties they are working for the next year, that hopefully you will be able to travel, or people they will be able to travel, and then they are making works and renovations. And also in Athens, for example, I can realize walking that really new properties or new hotels, they are getting finished for hopefully soon, when everything will be back to normal. And about cafes or restaurants, similar thing. Greeks, we like really to enjoy our meals outside, to have a coffee, to enjoy the good weather, and really also they were open until after the lockdown. Of course, nowadays we have a limitation, you have to be no more than 6 persons on per table, and also you have to be a social distance, like 1.5 meters between the tables. But really, we still go to these places and we enjoy our meals or our coffees. We try to live from the stay home that was during the lockdown, now to the stay safe is the next era, and we try to live our lives in a normal way for this month, and hopefully everything will be back to normal soon.
Wonderful, and yes, we certainly hope that that everything is back to normal as soon as possible. But I really appreciate that answer, because I know that all of us here in the States and in North America, we're looking at how things are changing in our lives, and so we've been worried about how things were looking for you and also the other folks in Greece. At this stage, what I'm going to do is we've been getting a number of questions that were submitted into the chat, and so I'm going to go through some of these and direct them to you. We have a question from Monica, and I'm going to ask Gloria this question. Gloria, Monica says, I'm going on the Greek Isles tour. Will I get to see Ia at the sunset?
Yes, you do. Usually tour directors will organize this trip to Ia, and then usually we'll leave, it depends on the season really, if it's late or a little bit early afternoon, of course that matches with the sunset. And yes, it is doable, easy, done.
Also, let me add in this, if I may, is that Santorini is an extremely popular and busy island. There are days that you can have, let's say, 10 cruise ships showing up. As tour directors, we will always try to recommend the best time to get to Ia, even if the sunset is not ideal. We might actually offer a different alternative just to give you a more pleasant experience. So for us, the point is to really help you enjoy the visit to Ia, and even if it's not a sunset, it's going to be at a time that you will enjoy. So, of course, you can still go in the sunset, but we know and we will tell you what is the best way to enjoy it by yourself and away from the crowds, which is everyone's goal.
Wonderful. Thank you for that answer. So this question I'm going to direct to Roberto. The question is, are there boat rides that are included in most of the trips to Greece?
Sorry?
Boat
Boat
rides.
rides.
Boat rides.
Yes.
Yes, like almost in all the, including the mainland tour. Yes, we have boat rides by ferries. Moving from one island to another island, we use ferries.
Wonderful. And you were also discussing one of the optional tours, which is the catamaran ride in Santorini. Could you tell us a little bit about that optional excursion, which folks can add on?
Yes, it's for me one of the highlights. Really, I've done also like in another tours in Europe that maybe they have a similar, but really is the best way to understand the island is in this way. You can see the island from a boat, by bus, walking, taking photos to the caldera, but really to see and to understand the formation of the island is if you do it by boat. In this catamaran, really, we will be depending the time of the year, but usually like after in the afternoon, and it's a half day, like 5 hours, 6 hours, depending the time, but really sailing along the cliffs, approaching to the volcano, having the chance to jump in the water near the hot springs, and everything safe, okay? And then also going to areas where is the red beach or the white beach. You will have a lovely casual dinner that really they're cooking there, they're making like on the grill, and then salads and wine, for example, or drinks there during the whole time. It's time also for dancing between the people that they can be on the catamaran or between the group. It's like a getting together and really enjoying the time together till the moment that the sunset is happening. Then the catamaran stops near or in the best place where the sunset is happening, photos, kisses if you are like in love, when you are with your partner in that.
Or you find one.
Or you find one, yes, why not? And then back to the port, having a beautiful, really picture of the end of the picture of the island, and really something remarkable for your whole life.
Wonderful. That sounds like an incredible experience. I would love to do that.
It is.
I'm missing it. We haven't done it this year. I'm missing it because I also jump in the water.
We tried the bathtub, it didn't work. It just didn't work.
All right, so this question comes in from Lori, and she's asking if you combine two tours, so if you went and did two different tours, is there a lot of overlap? And I'm assuming what she means by this is, do you go to the same places if did two different tour itineraries, would you go to the same places twice?
No, if you do Athens and the ancient land, no, certainly not. Then you can join with the Greek islands, for example, and certainly you have a variety when there is no other thing that duplicates itself. With the ancient land, you will be going as an included tour to Delphi, and you simply don't buy the optional when you are on the Greek island tour because you've been there already. But other than that, it's totally different places that you see.
Wonderful, thank you. This question, first of all, is coming from Liliana, and she says, I'm doing a week in ancient Greece in May 2021. My fiance and I will actually be using it as our honeymoon. Is there anything you recommend we do during our free time? And first of all, congratulations and thank you from Go Ahead for joining us for such a special occasion. But can you speak to Liliana and tell her some ideas of what she might like to do in her free time on the Week in Ancient Greece tour in May 2021 for her honeymoon?
Oh, say it again to me. Which month did she say she will be traveling?
She'll be traveling in May. In
May, the weather should be beautiful. Do I really have to say loud, or shall I just whisper into the husband here? Because I am sick. Okay, Liliana, close your ears. Future Liliana husband, ask any of us, because we all know, you should take your fiance or your wife at that time to have possibly one of the most breathtaking view when you have dinner, and we will suggest you a place when you eat, seeing the Acropolis in front of you illuminated, that it seems that you do like this and you touch it. It just, you don't know what you want to eat. You want to see the Acropolis or you want to see the eyes of the person that you just married. I don't know which one you choose. This is what I would do.
Wonderful. Do you folks, Roberto and Kostas, do you have any other recommendations of things that they might want to do during their free time?
So I would say if they go to Nafplion, which is part of the land tour, of the week land tour, Nafplion is, for us at least, is a romantic gateway for a weekend for couples in love, because it's a city that has been frozen, let's say, in time for the last 250 years. And it's full of alleys and bougainvillea flowers and stone cafeterias, very romantic and cozy places that it just makes you want to, take your loved one's hand and walk around. So for me, that would be Nafplion, an evening there would be an ideal thing.
For me, I hope Liliana's is taking the extension to going to Crete. Okay. Has beautiful places also where to spend a romantic evening, or restaurants, or also with a view to the sea. And also, we will suggest her any place if she's coming.
Great.
Liliana, that you know that after all this advice, the three of us want to be invited to your wedding. You know this. Fine.
Oh.
The date.
All right. This next question is about packing. So the question says, what are some must-pack items that you recommend? And I think I would expand this to say general packing tips, because I know that sometimes packing for the islands and traveling on ferries can be a little bit tricky. I would love it if you could address that.
I want to say that traveling light is also the best way to travel, because at one point, didn't I mention all the souvenirs? Okay. To your case. So, right? Second, when we do, for example, Athens and the ancient Greece, we load and unload bus. So it's kind of an easy thing to do because you as travelers won't do it. We'll take care of it. So that is an easy target. When you travel on the Greek islands, try to pack very light. They will be in and out public ferries. For the big cases, we can take care of it. For the small ones, and when we get off the ferry, then having 2 trolleys in your hand and maybe a bag and then another bag of souvenir, it might be something that, to be very honest, I want to say that you may regret. When you travel on the Greek island, what you need is sandals, flat shoes, a sweaters for the night or a windbreaker according to the season, and then bathing suit, and then shorts, and then everything which is simple. One dress if you want to go out and have a nice evening, but the more you pack light, and the easiest that will be.
And also, traveling to Greece is traveling back in time. That means that some of the modern amenities are not always available. So we do try to provide porterage for every single place that we go. In some places, especially some of the high-speed boats that we use, porterage might not be available. So it's something we might want to consider before packing, so we don't have to, schlep around our own big suitcases everywhere.
Great. Thank you. This next question, it has to do with seasonality. I know that we were talking a bit before about the best times to visit Greece, but some folks have been asking questions like, during the winter months, do businesses sometimes close? I know that sometimes here in the States, there are seasonal businesses that might be open or closed. And then the other question was, during August, do people go on holiday, and can that affect businesses being open? If you could address those questions, that would be great.
Well, during the winter time, we actually offer a land tour only, not the island tour, exactly for that, because in fact the islands do close in the winter time. In the mainland, shops do close relatively earlier, but the places that we visit on the tour, the pace of the tour, and our itinerary doesn't really make you feel that you actually don't have a chance to spend time outdoors to do your shopping or to just enjoy it, because all those services will be available because those are reasonable times of the day. So I would say for winter you have no problem. Actually, you have the utmost attention of every shop owner because you're one of the few people present at the moment. For August, Some businesses in Athens do close, but those are businesses that have to do with our everyday life for the locals. So for the visitors, all the shops and businesses actually are thriving during that time. So actually you will have a wide variety, nothing will be unavailable to you. And for the islands, it will be also the same. So it will be absolutely no issue, even if you read in the books that shops do close in Athens in the wintertime. It's true, but it's not shops that you would go. It's shops where you can go and buy your sewing kit or your home decoration or plumbing equipment. Yes, those will be closed, but we don't expect you to need those things.
That's a good point. You know, the schedule of the tours is designed to reflect the certain seasonal realities. All right. This question is from Kay, and this is about wine. The question is, I'd like some information on the red and white wines to try. Names, your favorites. I worked in the wine business. Excited to try. It looks like Roberto, you might be someone to ask questions about different types of red and white wine, or Kostas, either one.
Kostas better. I like white wine. White wine I like. I'm not a red wine person, but I like white wine. And yes, I have to recognize white wine from Santorini. It's one of the famous ones that they are coming, but also from the north of Greece that I've been discovering this year. Also, they are good ones. But the specialist in...
Well, Greece has been a wine producing country for more than 3,000 years. So in fact, actually, we do have some of the most interesting types of wine you can find in Europe. We are actually rediscovering, however, our wine making. So it's only for the last 100 years we can actually say we produce really good quality wines. But I would say that, as you heard, the wine from Santorini, especially the Assyrtiko and Nykteri names, everything is white wine from Santorini, and this is where you should stick with, would be highly recommended. As names, I would say Hadzi Michalis, Yero Vasiliou, those are the most famous Greek winemakers. As regions, I would say Nemia, which is probably the most ancient one. Hercules actually went there. And Nausa, also are very good. Any wine made from Crete, but there are many, many varieties that actually we can go through. So come to Greece, we will actually go to detail. You can do a wine tasting experience also.
If you like sweet wine, from Santorini also do the Vin Santo, okay? It's like the holy wine, but this Vin Santo really also is one to taste.
But there's
I like Kostas' recommendation.
those few names will be enough.
To learn, we need to go and we need to try in person. That's the best way to learn is through experience, right? All right, we're coming to the end of our questions. One more about wine. One is, can you bring back wine to the United States from Greece?
Bottles.
Hmm?
Yes, 2 bottles.
2 bottles. All right, wonderful. And I believe this may have to be our last question here. And this question is from Susan. Susan says, I want to see the mainland, but also would like to sample several of the islands. Can you offer the 4 or 7 day Greek island cruise as an optional add-on?
The cruise? Are you talking about a cruise?
The Greek island section, or is that something that one might want to have customized as a specific customization tour?
Or she can do again the Athens and the ancient land, and then buy after the first available date, because they both end and start in Athens, and so she can stay waiting for the other tour to join. And there are 2 versions of the Greek islands. There is the longer that stays also in Crete, and there is the short version that doesn't do Crete, and that it's a week on a Greek island. So she can finishes in Athens, making sure that when she booked the tour in the office, she mentioned this, so she finishes, and either the same day when the other group arrives, or she stays that night, and then the following day she will start from Athens the other section of the tour.
Okay. So your recommendation would be to do the mainland tour that you talked about earlier, and then do the shorter version of the Greek islands tour. Wonderful. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We have been really blessed to be joined by Gloria, Roberto, and Kostas. We have a few reminders that we're going to put to you, but then we're going to be rejoining them very quickly for a goodbye toast. But we wanted to just remind you that here at Go Ahead, our goal is to provide you with tours that meet your travel style. So regardless of your interests, we have tour itineraries that can meet those. So if you're interested in history, you might want to try Athens and ancient Greece, as Gloria discussed. If you're interested in food and wine, you might want to take a look at the food and wine tour that Kostas discussed. And if you're interested in the quintessential Greece trip, Roberto will have you set up for one of those tours of the Greek islands. And as we discussed briefly in that last question, if you're interested in creating your own itinerary, we can do that as well. We have an office that will take your recommendations and your needs, and we can build a customized tour just for you, your family, or your group. So we have a few notes about upcoming Travel Tuesday travel talks that we want to make sure that you put on your calendar. Next month in November, our Travel Tuesday Travel Talk will be featuring tour directors from the UK and Ireland. That will be on Tuesday, November 10th at 1 p.m. And in December, on December 15th, the Travel Tuesday Travel Talk will be featuring our tour directors from Germany. So that is December 15th. So please mark your calendars for that. You can also sign up for those on our website, goaheadtours.com/webinars. That's goaheadtours.com/webinars. Also, I know that we weren't able to get to all of your questions today. It's unfortunate that we don't have time to get to everyone's question, but we do have folks that are available to answer your questions. Any question you have about a Go Ahead tour, please give us a call and we'll be happy to answer that for you. Our phone number is 877-402-4072. And all of this information can also be found on our website, goaheadtours.com. Now, to say goodbye, we're going to go back to our tour directors in Greece, who will be giving us one farewell toast. Kostas, please send us away.
Well, you may know already that the national drink of Greece is called ouzo. And I must admit it's an acquired taste because it tastes like black licorice, so maybe it's not for everyone. However, just for you, just for this webinar, we have sort of invented a very simple little cocktail that you could try back at home or when you come here, hopefully, that's going to really change your opinion about the Greek ouzo. And basically it's a cocktail with 1 part of ouzo, 2 parts of orange juice, a slice of an orange, and it's delicious and it's really a flavor that you should try. So, yamas.
Yamas.
Cheers.
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 And we're looking forward to hopefully see you very, very soon in Greece.
See you soon.
And a little tip, after 2 of these, you'll be speaking fluently Greek.
Yamas.
Yamas.
Thank you. Yamas.
Thank you.
Thank you all, everybody.
Aristo.